that don't want what we know out there.
How a person can go from really almost nothing to becoming a millionaire by owning rental properties.
He would always buy these flip houses, and I just remember thinking, this guy is crazy. Why would he buy that house?
In the past decade, there's been a huge surge in the peer-to-peer short-term rental market.
Become an insider. So you have to know the rules before you get the game.
Every second counts. So make every second count.
Welcome to the Real Estate Jam. Whether you're just beginning or the best of the best, we're glad you're here. We will share successes, failures, and strategies for the action-taking real estate investor. And now to your hosts, JD and Melissa.
Hi guys, welcome to the Real Estate Jam podcast. I'm JD with my wonderful co-host Melissa.
Hello, JD.
Hello, Melissa. How are you?
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday, and what a Monday it's been. All right.
It's been a great Monday. Come on.
Yeah, no, it has been a pretty good Monday. So just an update. We got our flip listed last week, and we're getting a couple of showings, nothing too crazy. We're considering a price reduction because we want to get it moved fast so we can redeploy our capital into some other projects we're looking at. But we'll keep you guys updated on that. Now,
I'm in panic mode.
and I'm like, it'll happen. Well, the average days on market in that area are 68 days. It's been on the market for 5. So I think we should check the brakes a little bit.
It's just such a difference. Like in April.
Oh, yeah.
Our listings were on for like 2 days, but in that 2 days, it was just us negotiating. It wasn't actually 2 days.
Yeah,
so.
30 offers.
Yes.
Ask, and things have changed. And I think it's also important to realize that the media has changed about real estate and real estate investing. So the public, the people that you're dealing with, are starting to see that, and that's going to increase the slowdown a little bit, keep things level. But based off of the inventory on the MLS in our markets, we are in a sustainable market. We're not in a buyer's market. We're not in a seller's market. We're just in this flat spot. But because we are in such a hot seller's market before, it really feels like we're jumping into the buyer's market when really we're just where real estate should be with inventory and such. As long as the interest rates continue to rise, I think we're going to continue to see this market. But or if they continue to rise or stay the same, we're going to see this market. If they really rise, we're going to start to see prices start to decline. Right now, your properties are staying on the market longer, but because there's less inventory, it's keeping the prices up. But as people stop looking to buy houses, that will drive the inventory down. This whole supply and demand, I should have paid more attention in high school economics because there's some really big things going on in the market. But my perspective and my outlook moving forward is we're going to stay about the same. And as soon as interest rates start to move one way or another, we're going to see the market react to that.
I can't wait. But the only thing that's frustrating to me, just because we are so buyer heavy, we work with so many buyers, is that there's such a difference in the pricing right now that we can get them at such a reduced rate, a reduced price, as well as the concessions, because sellers are getting scared and they're desperate. And so they're paying closing costs. They're, buying the points down. They're coming way off list price. And we're also seeing some creative stuff. So as a buyer, I would be jumping on this right now because we know you can just refinance. It's going to come down. Even if it's 3 years, you're still going to be way better off buying right now than you're going to be buying when the interest rates go down.
Yeah, it's like what's better right now, buying a property with a 7 or 8% interest rates, or paying $100,000 more for the purchase price with a lower interest rate. It definitely depends on your goals and what you're trying to do. But if you can buy at a discount while other people aren't, and take advantage of that, I think you're going to be better off in the long run. And none of this is a get rich quick game. So long run is what we're looking for. And that's the way we should be focusing on our buy and hold stuff. Fix and flips, wholesaling. Bless you.
Sorry.
That's a little bit of a different story.
Well, that's not what we're going to talk about today. Sorry.
No,
We got
that's
off.
a sidetrack, but that's okay. So I think it's time we're going to do, some of the questions that we've been seeing asked either through our local meetup that we run. This month we had about
37.
37 people
Awesome.
come to our meetup, which is pretty good for us. If we continue with that, we're going to have to get a bigger venue. If any of you guys are in Panama City Beach or the Panhandle of Florida, the second Wednesday of the month at 6 o'clock, San Marcos Mexican Grill in Panama City Beach, right next door to Panera.
In Pier Park.
In Pier Park.
Come out.
You're more than welcome to come. We have a meetup.com sign up for that, and you can jump on that and get to it. Now,
Panhandle Real Estate Investors.
Yeah, the Panhandle Real Estate Investors Group. But from that meetup and from our Facebook groups and just the people that we interact with regularly, we've had a couple of things come up recently multiple times. And so I wanted to talk about that and go into, our thoughts on what that actually means, and trying to, like Tyler Austin says all the time, find the problem within the problem.
Nice.
It's right. Okay. So on Facebook a few days ago, in one of the real estate investing groups, somebody came on there and said, hey, I have this awesome deal. Here are the numbers. Here is how much profit I'm going to make as a wholesale deal. Here's how much profit the flipper's going to make. And my problem is they're asking for $1,500 earnest money deposit, non-refundable, and they want it on contract acceptance. And his question was, his position was, man, I could be doing so many deals if I didn't have to worry about this earnest money deposit, this $1,500 earnest money deposit.
Yeah, I would say that's crazy.
Why? Why do you think that's crazy?
Because there's just so many opportunities if you don't have the earnest money deposit, there's so many ways. You just have to be super resourceful. I mean, we could go out in the garage and get $5,000 pretty much in a weekend, right? Just with what you have. And then, sell stuff like get a cash advance off your credit card, ask your mom. I mean, I think that is such a small problem that I know that it's perceived as a big problem, but there's so many people that would be able to help you, as well as I would just be reaching out to other investors, by going to these meetups, going back to the meetup, you're going to meet somebody there, maybe meet 20 something people there that would love to JV with you, that, would give up $1,500 to get that deal going, as long as it's a good deal, right?
Right. Yeah, definitely. If it's a good deal. And the way I think about it too is, one, there's a couple of things that you can do to prevent that from being a problem. One, develop a good relationship with your title company, and that's going to help eliminate some issues with the EMD. The other thing is, remember, it's not like we're agents and we're looking to help people sell and we're putting in the offers on these on-market deals. We're looking for problems to solve. We are looking for people who are motivated, and you can't force somebody to be motivated. Mm-hmm. I think part of the problem within the problem is, well, why does this person need that EMD? What does that EMD do? Does that EMD solve their problem? Does that EMD increase your credibility? What's the reason that they want that EMD? Have they been burned by a wholesaler who didn't do what they say they were going to do before? Or have they run across me and I scorched the earth telling them, hey, there's a lot of other guys that are going to come out and offer you exactly what you want, but what things you need to look out for is if they're not going to be serious about it, they're going to have an assignable contract. They're going to try to offer you $100 EMD. I would ask for at least $5,000. That's what I do when my number doesn't work for somebody. I scorch the earth, and so then that creates an obstacle for any other wholesaler that's coming around. And when you really look at those deals, getting back to, you can't force motivation on somebody. So either they're going to be motivated or they're not. But I've never ever dealt with a motivated seller that was like, hey, we need $1,500. We need $5,000 EMD. They don't get that money anyway. It goes and sits in the title company. Title company doesn't even cash the check. It just sits there. So that's part of it. It's like, if you're finding and talking to the right people, they're not going to be looking for the EMD. And
also, I would not throw up $1,500 as my EMD.
Oh, no.
Start with $100, and most of the time, nobody's going to do anything. There's no question of that. They're just going to accept that $100 on your wholesale contract. It's very seldom that somebody kicks back and says, hey, that's not enough after you're working with them.
Now, a lot of times, if we're looking at agent deals or something on the MLS,
that's different.
That's part of it. But when you finally found somebody, out of all the marketing you're doing, all the text messages you're sending, the cold calls you're going through, the direct mail that you're sending out, PPC, whatever advertising you're doing, when you get somebody who's actually motivated, they're looking to sell that property and either sell it on terms or sell it for cash. But they don't care. They just want to know that you can solve the problem. So that's the first part of it. Make sure that you're actually dealing with these motivated sellers. The next part of it is, if it's such a great deal, if it really is a good deal, then I don't care. If I'm trying to buy $1 million property and the person's motivated and it's worth $10 million, I'll give them $100,000 EMD. That's fine. That doesn't matter if it's a good enough deal. If I stand to make $9,000 from $100,000 or $9 million from a $100,000 investment, then we would do that, right? But what happens a lot of times, if you're trying to make a deal out of something that's not a deal, if you lock the property up too high and now you're looking at it and it's not a deal and you're trying to get somebody else to take on the risk for you, or you're trying to justify why you don't sell your prized possession to fund that or pawn it, really, to sell it. If you're not willing to do that, to get that earnest money available, if you're not willing to take a credit card advance, cash advance, whatever, to get that earnest money, then is it really a good deal? And if it's not a good deal, don't be pushing it out like it is. Now, I think what it really boils down to is the mindset. The problem within the problem is the mindset. It's a mindset thing. Like, okay, so how much is $1,500 if you ran around your neighborhood? Now, there's going to be some people, I guess we should say, there's some people that really don't have the ability, but short of.
I disagree with you, because those people can find somebody and they can they can find another wholesaler, they can find another investor. And like you said, if it's a deal, somebody's going to do that.
Right. Yeah, you're right. And so what I'm saying is, if it's really a deal and you can prove it in the numbers and you can show me, hey, here are the comps, here's what it's selling for, here's the one down the street that so-and-so wholesaled last month to this buyer. If you can show me that, I'll fund the EMD. I'll come up with it. If you can. I think you can. I think everybody does have the ability to come up between $1,000 and $5,000 at a moment's notice, within a matter of a couple of days, if they really wanted to, if they were really driving. But I think $1,500, it's not a lot of money in the real estate world, but when you're first starting out and you haven't done a single deal, $1,500 might as well be $2 million, because it's the same thing. And that's when you need to start, like, it's not the lack of resources, it's the lack of resourcefulness. Mm-hmm. And that's when you really need to start looking at, who do I know that has that money? Who do I know that can help me get that money? What can I do to get that money? You go mow lawns or shovel driveways or pick up cans off the side of the road. There's a lot of different things that you could get to do to have that money. And if none of that works, there's all these Pace Morby Gator lenders out there, where if there's a big enough spread and you got a $1,500 EMD, then you borrow that from a Gator lender for $1,500. So you pay them back $3,000 when the deal closes. If it's a good enough deal, it should have that spread in there, and you still make your money. If you're looking at doing a $40,000 wholesale fee, then what's $6,000 is better than nothing.
Yeah, and that would segue over to, don't ever take yourself out of a deal because of the money part, the EMD or the buyer, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think that's a pretty good statement. That there, of course, are some deals that you just can't make work no matter what. But if you're not trying everything you do, so this was a question that came up at our meetup the other day. And the other one is like, hey, I'm getting these good deals under contract, but I don't have the buyers. So then I have to cancel the contract.
That's crazy. Crazy talk.
Especially nowadays, right?
Yeah.
Like you spend all the time, effort, energy, money to market to that property. You found somebody who was motivated and you were able to agree on a price. Now, it might be different if they say, I want 100 and you're at 25 and they say, well, can you do 80? And it's really not a deal. Yeah. Again, it comes down to whether it is a deal or it isn't a deal. But if it is a deal and you know it's a deal and you can't move it, don't just cancel the contract. Pay attention to when your EMD goes hard, pay attention to all of that kind of stuff. But there are so many other resources. And, how much are you actually working? Are you going through your contact list and calling each of those people on your buyers list, telling them, explaining to them why it's a good deal? Are you reaching out? Are you marketing that deal effectively? Are you marketing on Facebook, Craigslist, Zillow, all of these places? Have you been taking it to the local meetups and pushing it there? What have you been doing? And if you just called your one buyer who usually buys in that area, he doesn't want it, so you give up and cancel the contract, you're missing out on a lot of money every year. Well, tons every year, but every single month you're canceling contracts. That's work and effort that you didn't get paid for. So you
don't let that happen.
You're going to zero when you could, which I recommend to everybody. If you can't move, and which we've done too. There's been some deals that are a little bit outside of our typical buy box. None of our buyers wanted it. So we reached out to some of the other wholesalers in our area that have lists and say, hey, do you know anybody that wants this deal? And so we take our $60,000 assignment fee down to $30,000 because we split it 50-50 with them. But even if I couldn't split it 50-50, even if it was 40-60 or 25-75, I would still like that money to pay for my marketing costs, to maybe put a little bit of money into our pocket and close that deal, than just to walk away because I can't get Billy, who always buys single family rentals, to close on this deal. That means I'm going to throw away all that time, effort, and energy that I spent just because either one, I'm too prideful, or I think more likely is you just don't know. Yeah. And that's why reaching out to these other people, networking with other investors, a lot of people get that limited mindset, like, well, I don't want to share my deals with these people.
Yeah. I mean, Wednesday night at our meetup, we had this couple who were new to wholesaling, and he said he's just gotten so many deals, but they've had to cancel because they didn't have buyers. And I'm like, no, don't ever do that. Find people in your market, but they have to be deals now. Yeah. So not sure if they were deals, but let somebody look at them. And then we talked about that too. Just because you have somebody look at them doesn't mean that you have to
partner.
You can just say, hey, can you look at this deal for me? Just because you have asked us to do that doesn't mean that we expect anything from it, but it's nice to have somebody else, another pair of eyes on stuff, if you're newer to wholesaling.
Or if you're old to wholesaling, but you're going into a different market. Yeah. Well, there's other people there that are going to be experienced. And now if you run your numbers and you come up with a certain price, and they run their numbers and come up with a certain price, and you're in the same bucket, okay, well, you're right. But if they come up with $50,000 or $60,000 less, well, maybe you need to reevaluate how you're analyzing that deal, figure out why. Or if they run their numbers and they're coming back at more, and they have buyers that would buy, like, why not just partner with them?
Yeah, for sure.
Sometimes it's just about knowing that somebody else thinks that's a good deal, especially starting out, to give you the confidence and the mindset shift. Oh, this is a good deal. Now let me go and work it. Nobody wants to push a bad deal. If you know it's a bad deal, if you got a $2,000 off of the MLS list price and you wonder why you're not motivated to push that deal out to your buyer's list, like, there's a reason there. But if everybody says it's a good deal and you have a good buyer's list that you've been working consistently, then you should be able to move it. But in the case that you don't, start looking for people in your market and in your network to partner with, because getting paid on that deal, maybe that's not the home run. That's not that. Maybe that's just a base hit. You split it 50-50 and that's a base hit. But what it did was gave you some of the money or all of the money back for the marketing, and allows you to play in this game again for the long run, not just short time. You need this money right now. If you're thinking about monetizing your time, money, and effort to play this game for longer, you're going to hit your home runs eventually.
And it gives you some, confidence too. I mean, I think that's important, especially if you're new.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And to see that you're getting deals that can be moved, that you need to work on it. You should always be working on your private money lenders list. You should always be working on your buyers list. You should always be working on getting new leads in. You should always be networking with other professionals in your locale, in your area. And those are things that you have to do on a constant basis, and they need to be intentional. If you're not being intentional with those things, you're not going to see the level of success that a lot of these other people are doing.
Thanks, JD.
Well,
that was a lot of good info.
It is. And that kind of segues into, I know that a lot of you guys have seen some of the links to sign up for a free coaching call. Those are 30-minute calls. Usually they run an hour. I give you whatever you're looking for, and then probably a bunch more information. But we're doing that. And from those free coaching calls, we're setting up a private Facebook group that you can come and be a part of. So it will be a paid group eventually. Right now, it's a free coaching call, and that gets you access to the free private Facebook group. But if you sign up for a call between like now and we'll say the middle of October, you'll get into that Facebook group for free. After the middle of October, we're going to start charging some, nominal fee that makes it so that it's not like all of the other free wholesaling groups, free real estate investing groups. We want to limit people who aren't in there, for the right reasons.
Full access to JD all the time.
Yeah, that's right. And Melissa by default.
You're welcome.
Yeah, free access. So we have direct lines of communication. We're going to be running classes through there, having different discussions, and really trying to build up a network of people, either local or across the country, that can get in there and get questions to basic wholesaling, short-term rental, buy and holds, fix and flips, all of that kind of stuff. If you need help, that's going to be a really good place to do it. So if you want to sign up for free coaching, again, the coaching call is free. We'll have a conversation about whatever it is you want to
Can
go
you put
over.
the link in here?
We'll drop the link into the show notes or into the video description.
Thanks, JD. That was awesome.
Super awesome. Well, that's all I got.
That's all I got.
All right. We appreciate you guys' time. Sign up for a call, and we'll talk to you later.
Next week.
Thank you for listening to the Real Estate Jam. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. For more information, check out our website, therealestatejam.com, or find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at The Real Estate Jam. If you have any questions, feel free to drop us an email at therealestatejam@gmail.com. See you next episode.